Okay, we begin the lecture on the Sixth Patriarch Platform Sutra. We finished last time on page 14 of chapter 7. Page 14 of chapter 7. That means 7.3. Yeah. Let's see. In April, we studied page 220. So we finish that time. The previous, we went over the (7.29) about the Zen master Huirang, and he met the patriarch, and when he bowed to the patriarch, patriarch asked him, "Where do you come from?" And he said, "From 숭산, from Song Mountain," he replied. And the patriarch then asked, "What thing comes here and how does it come?" If you say it is a thing that is already a mistake, so that cannot be attained by practicing, asked the patriarch. It is not impossible to attain it through practice. However, it is not possible to taint it. Okay? So, this is a very important point. This untainted thing that all the Buddhas take care of, we talked about this last time, is just this untainted thing that all the Buddhas take good care of. What is this untainted thing that all the Buddhas take good care of? This is what the patriarch talked about, and this is what the Huirang said. If you say it as a thing, that's already a mistake. So if you describe it as a thing, there's already a mistake. But can it be attained? And he said it's not impossible to attain it. So you can attain it, but it's not possible to taint it. So you can attain it, but you cannot taint it. There's two interesting words here: attain and taint. What does the word attain mean? Attain means to get it, to awaken to it, to get something from it. But the second word here is similar, but is it to taint? Does anybody know what the word taint means? Taint means to make something impure, to make it dirty, to taint it. So he's saying it's not impossible to attain it through practice. So you can attain it. It is possible to attain it, but it's not possible to taint it. This is a very interesting point. So you can attain it, but you cannot change it. You cannot make it dirty. You cannot make it pure. You cannot change it. It is not even a thing. So how can you taint it? So then the patriarch said, it's just this untainted thing that all Buddhists take good care of. Of course, it's very difficult to talk about this. As it is for you, so it is for me. The Indian patriarch Prajnatara predicted that from among your disciples, one will be like a horse who will trample and kill all the people of this world. And so we talked about that last time already. This was a prediction that in the future, that Nanye Mountain, the school, Nanye Mountain, the teacher known as Nanye Sansa, he would produce the great Zen master Majo. This was a prediction. He would produce the Zen master Majo, would come from his school. So that's why it said, the horse will trample and kill all the people of this world. And the Huirang, he stayed and attended on the patriarch for 15 years. So you can see in those days people were not so much in a hurry. Once he learned from his teacher, he stayed with his teacher another 15 years. He didn't leave right away. Oh, thank you for your teaching. Bye-bye. See you. He didn't just do that. He learned from his teacher, and for 15 years he attended on him. He was his attendant, meaning when the teacher was thirsty, he brought him something to drink. When the teacher was tired, he prepared his bed. All the things, he took care of him. He followed him for 15 years. This is a kind of devotion that people had in this time. And during this time, his attainment grew deeper. He got more enlightened during the time when he stayed with his teacher, and he attended on him. And afterwards, he established a Zen school on Nanyu Mountain and spread the teaching widely. Upon his death, the posthumous title Zen Master Da Wei was conferred on him by imperial edict. Now, this name Da Wei means great wisdom. Later, much later, there was another Zen master called Da Wei. In the Korean, we say Daehye Snim. But this was not Daehye Snim. This was, the name originally was the Huirang or Nanye Sonsa. If you look on the patriarch's record, it says Nanye Huirang Sonsa. That's because his original name is Huirang. Later, he was named after the mountain where he stayed. In China, it was the custom that when somebody became the Zen master and they lived on a certain mountain, certain place, they are named after that mountain. So if somebody, for example, lived at Heiansa, Kaya Mountain, they would be called Kaya Songchol. We all know about Songchol Snim, who stayed on at Heiansa Temple, but nobody called him Kaya Songchol. But if he was in China, the custom was the master got the name of the mountain. So he would be called like Kaya Songchol. Or if I became master where I live now at Musangsa, on Karyong, I'd be called Karyong Mushim. They call me Karyong Mushim. Hey, Karyong, come over here. You know? So this was the case with this Nam Hui Sonsa. He stayed on the Nam Ye mountain and spread the teaching widely. And he is known as one of the great successors to the sixth patriarch. He is known as the heir of the sixth patriarch Dharma. And his lineage continued down through China and into Korea. So the first Korean patriarch is who? Do you know? Today you're all Korean, so I must test you. Who is the first Korean Zen patriarch? No. Doi Sonsa. Yes, this is a first maybe great monk in Korea, but first the actual patriarch who received the Dharma from China is a Taego Bo'u. Taego Bo'u Sonsa. He is considered the first patriarch of Korea, Chosa. Taego Bo'u. Of course, the Doi Sonsa was earlier than Taego. But Doi Sonsa is, we don't understand whether he was just what kind of teaching he had. It's not just a Zen, more like a general Buddhism teaching. But the Taego Bo'u Sonsa was the first Zen patriarch of Korea. And he traced his line to this Nan Hui Huirang Sonsa. This is how some people, of course, there are people who say that the sixth patriarch's Dharma went through earlier. There's not just one way to trace the lineage. But what I learned is from my teacher is the Taegu Bo'uguksa, the first great Korean patriarch who went to China and received the Dharma of China's monks received the Dharma and came back to Korea. Daego. So we see in this chapter 7 of this book, many different masters came and visited the sixth patriarch, many different monks, and many of them had the good fortune to meet the great master, like the Huineng, like the sixth patriarch. They had the good fortune. They meet him and get enlightenment. And many of them stayed with him for quite some time. They stayed close to him and they get the benefit of his presence. So we look in this chapter, there are many accounts. The title of this chapter is Temperament and Circumstances. And the many account of how different monks and masters, they came to visit the sixth patriarch. And here's another one, the Dhyana master, Yun Guak of Wing Ka. He was born of the Thai family, and he studied sutras. He studied in particular Vipassana. All of you know what Vipassana is? Yeah, Vipassana meditation. And he studied Tendai school, and he was reading the Vimalakirti Sutra, and he clearly realized his own mind. Vimalakirti Sutra is, we say, Yumagyong. Yumagyong. He reading the Vimalakirti Sutra, and he attained some awakening. And one day, another disciple of the patriarch by the name of Unchak happened to pay him a visit, and he noticed that every utterance of his friend, everything he said, was agreed with the sayings of the various patriarchs. So he noticed that what his friend said, everything is just like from the patriarch's book. And he asked him, "May I know the name of the teacher who transmitted the Dharma to you?" And then Yongguak said, "I had many teachers to instruct me when I studied the sutras and commentaries, but afterwards it was through reading the Vimalakirti Sutra that I attained the teaching of mind-to-mind school. However, I have not yet had any teacher to verify and confirm my attainment." So what he said was, basically he said, I had many different teachers, but it wasn't until I read the Yumagyong, the Vimalakirti Sutra, that I actually had some awakening. I got some enlightenment when I was reading these Vimalakirti Sutra. Then Unchak, Unchak is the disciple of the sixth patriarch, he said to him, "Before the time of the first Buddha, Bhishmagarajitra Raja," a very difficult name. Before the time of the first Buddha, which means very long time ago, it was possible to dispense with the service of a teacher. But since that time, he who attains enlightenment without the aid and confirmation of a teacher is a natural heretic. What does this mean? This means if you just read a book and say, "I got enlightenment reading the book," and you don't go to visit the enlightened master, then you are not really, you are not the one who can say that they are a good teacher. Because it's important, since a long time ago, that the one who attains enlightenment and without the aid of a teacher is that they go and that they have their attainment confirmed. That somebody check that their attainment is valid, that it's a genuine attainment, that it's not just the kind of imagination. So this is a very important point. All of you should really remember this point. I think this is probably the most important thing I ever talk about in the library lecture. That if we think we got enlightenment, whether we read a book or whether we are watching something on the television or whether we take just a walking in the mountain. If we think we got enlightenment, we should first have it checked. We should first meet the master and have it confirmed before we go around saying to people, I got enlightenment. Before we do that, we should have it confirmed by the master. So a natural heretic, would you know what a heretic is? What's a heretic?
It's kind of a complicated word, but in my understanding, someone just have some peculiar and not some of the authentic understanding of some kind of religious service or.
Yes, okay. It means somebody who said they are naturally talented. It's like somebody said, I grew up, when I was a child, I saw God, and I have already experienced the holiness. When you hear this, how do you feel?
You're good.
You feel good?
Sincerely, thank you.
Many people follow this kind of natural heretic, but we say in Buddhism, this is dangerous. Don't follow the natural heretic, because the natural heretic sometimes cannot distinguish between what is a real experience and what is imaginary experience. Okay? Understand? So the natural heretics sometimes imagine that they get enlightenment, but they cannot understand what is a true enlightenment until they are confirmed by another person. This is why it's important somebody else confirm for you your experience. This is a very basic but very important point. And this is why in the meditation practice, the meditation school, the teacher is very important. The master is more important than anything. If you have a beautiful temple, you have a beautiful place, and you have many good friends, if you don't have a good master, then it's very difficult to find the way of correct meditation. It's easy to get lost because people tend to pat themselves on the back. Oh, you're doing good job. Oh, you're doing well. Like that, you know? Pat yourself on the back. Oh, you're doing fine. You got enlightenment. Yeah, it's wonderful. But how can you really know objectively? How do you know objectively if somebody really attained? Objective is very important. We say in science, we must be objective, not subjective. So this is why, since a long time ago, really great teacher or really great master, they don't say to their student, only study with me, and you'll get enlightened, you'll become wonderful. This is not so good. Better, the really great masters say, after you study with me, go visit other teacher, go visit other master, confirm your attainment. Really make sure. The really good teacher said, now you finish study with me, go to study with other master. Go, or at least have the chance to talk to other masters. Then you'll become really great man or great woman, for that matter. This is a very important point. And this is what the Unchak was saying to the monk Yonguak. He said that if you don't have confirmation, you are a natural heretic. Then Yonguak, he's very humble. And he said, will you, sir, kindly confirm my attainment? Here on page 221. Will you kindly confirm my attainment? On the bottom of page 221. And the Unjak said, my words carry no weight. In Sao Kai, there is the sixth patriarch to whom visitors in great numbers come from all directions, with the common intent of having the Dharma transmitted to them. Should you wish to go there, I shall be pleased to accompany you. So he said, My words are not important. He's not really known very well, Unchak. But if you visit the sixth patriarch and you have him confirm your attainment, this is different. This is more, means more. So after they arrived, the Yungwak, he circled the patriarch 3 times. 3 times he walked around, sixth patriarch, raised his staff and hit the floor. Then he just stood there without the bowing. He did not bow. He 3 times go around him. Then just stand there. But the patriarch, he said, as a Buddhist monk, as a Shramana monk, you are the embodiment of 3,000 rules of etiquette and 80,000 minor disciplinary rules. I wonder where you come from and what makes you so arrogant. Why are you so arrogant? He asked. Where you come from? Why are you so arrogant? This question is, you are a Buddhist monk, but you are very arrogant. You're, like that. How can you be like that? But this Yungwak, he said, the great question of life and death is a momentous one. Death may come at any moment. I have no time to waste for ceremony. This is interesting. He said, I don't have any time to bowing. I have no time to bow. Maybe life and death soon finish. Okay? But the sixth patriarch, he said, why don't you attain the substance of no birth? Then the problem of death and its coming will not concern you anymore. So, this is a very important point. But Yungwak said, since substance has no birth, the basic problem of death, and when it comes, is solved. Okay, so basically, what they are talking about is the area of no birth and no death. Because if you have birth, and then you have life. And if you have life, then you also have death. If you have no birth, then no life, then no death. So everything in this world is made up of opposites. Birth and death. Man, woman. High and low, sky and ground. If you don't have one opposite, you take away one opposite, then the other cannot exist by its own. Are there any questions today?